This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. For those of you who followed the channel for a while, I've done videos early on about Facebook, the dangers of Facebook, why people shouldn't be on Facebook. And it's not just because of the spying, Facebook's connection to the CIA, and those things which are extremely dangerous, how they monitor your likes, your dislikes. They monitor what you say, they monitor where you go and what you're doing, but also because it's part of the New World Order's plan. They're trying to make everybody almost feel like they're their own celebrity, that they have their own social status, that they need to comment on everything and give a PR statement whenever something happens, or show you whatever they're eating, or show you whatever comes out of their rear end after they have dinner. I mean, it's ridiculous, the stuff that people post. It's very dangerous to have, but also for the mental psyche, it's extremely dangerous for people who get obsessed with this kind of stuff, spend their day on Facebook, numerous hours. Sources say people are on Facebook for hours every day reading other people's comments, getting jealous, or getting, I have to top this person, or feeling down on themselves because someone else is getting a raise. It's all ridiculous. It's all part of the New World Order plan. But Satanist himself, Mark Zuckerberg, who I'm sure some of you have seen the photo where Mark Zuckerberg takes off his Facebook jacket and you can see his Zionist ties inside of it, his Masonic ties, and what the plans really are with Facebook. He's actually come out a few days ago and spoken about wanting a new world order, which isn't a surprise, but they're using different terms now instead of saying new world order, because people kind of caught on since George Bush said it, back in the early 90s. More of a global community. It's globalism is what it is. But the masses out there don't even realize what they're saying since they've switched the words up. If people hear new world order anyway, they roll their eyes. But Zuckerberg has also said that he's revealing plans to use artificial intelligence to spy on Facebook users' private messages in a bid to combat terrorism. So they're going to start, they already are, let's be realistic. They're already spying on your private messages. They spy on everything. They spy on our Gmail. You name it, they're already looking. But Zuckerberg openly said that, and people just go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to keep my Facebook. It's not a big deal. It's just, I don't really, I'm not obsessed with it. That's a common thing you'll hear people say. I'm not really obsessed with it. I just do it to, just see pictures of my cousin's baby photos of my niece and my nephew and all that kind of stuff. That's all I use it for. That's what people say because they're prideful and they don't admit what they're really looking at. But Zuckerberg also has come out and wrote a manifest entitled Building Global Community. And see, what they're doing is they're using Donald Trump here, because Donald Trump now fits in perfectly, right, with all of this. He's anti-global. He's coming across as anti-globalism, and who knows what they have planned with Trump to start a war, or who knows what's in the cards in the upcoming months or years. But you're going to hear more of this stuff about building a global community and wanting world peace, because Trump is building the wall. Trump is trying to prevent globalism. That's what they're claiming. That's what they're saying. So it's going to be easier for them to come out and say, look, what Trump's doing is wrong. He's discriminating. He's hating, and people don't like confrontation. People, this is so bad. What's going on? This is all part of their plan. Both narratives fit into it, the Republican and Democratic narrative, to get what they want, which is a new world order. So this piece entitled Building Global Community, written by Mark Zuckerberg, who, of course, was prominently placed in this position, and that's why they have to come out with a movie and say, this is how Zuckerberg came up with the idea. Okay, this stuff is all planned. The stories behind these people and how they get to these spots, of course they have to make that narrative, because then people will go, how did they get here? Oh, they want you to think that the American dream is possible, that you can build the next Facebook and all this stuff. Listen, if you build the next Facebook or something like it, they're going to steal the idea from you, and if you refuse to give it to them or sell it to them for a small amount of money, they'll kill you. Okay, they're not letting people become rich and famous and billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg unless they're part of it. Obviously, Zuckerberg is, and the story behind how he became so big is all propaganda. It's all made up. So let's look at some of the stuff that Mark Zuckerberg posted. He said, on our journey to connect the world, which is in more common talk, right? Connecting the world is globalism, connecting all of us. We all need to be connected. One. On our journey to connect the world, we often discuss products we're building and updates on our business. Today, I want to focus on the most important question of all. Are we building the world we all want? History is the story of how we've learned to come together in ever great numbers, from tribes to cities to nations. At each step, we built social infrastructure like communities, media, and governments to empower us to achieve things we couldn't on our own. Okay? That's even hinting in a sense at the Tower of Babel, if you think about it. Wanting that back, wanting what they wanted in the first place, which was a one world government. under the eye of Lucifer, which is what they're trying to attain. It says, today we are close to taking our next step. Our greatest opportunities are now global, like spreading prosperity and freedom, promoting peace and understanding, lifting people out of poverty, and accelerating science. Well, for starters, if you really cared about lifting people out of poverty, all of these people like Zuckerberg who have billions of dollars, you can't even fathom what to do with that kind of money. If you had it, you wouldn't even know how to spend it. But they always ask us, to donate our hardworking money to them or to these charities out there to feed the homeless or all this stuff. And we do, and we should as good Christians. But they just lie like that. And they say, we got to get people out of poverty. We've got to get, promote peace. This is all New World Order. These are all codes. This is all what I like to call trigger words. Peace is a trigger word. Prosperity is a trigger word. Dreams are trigger. They're all trigger words. They trigger certain emotions out of people the second they hear it. They don't even realize what he's saying right here. It sounds like a wonderful thing, right? He's talking about, now we need to spread prosperity and freedom. Freedom's a trigger word. Promoting peace and understanding, lifting people out of poverty, and accelerating science. People hear that and they go, that sounds wonderful. So if you spoke against that, they would immediately shoot you down and say, how could you speak against those things? Because they've triggered people and they planted these seeds for the New World Order, for the one world government. And I'm telling you, I say it all the time. People are going to want it. Everyone always thinks it's going to be forced. People are going to want their privacy taken away. People are going to want the mark of the beast. People are going to want martial law because they're creating the fear, they're creating the panic, and they're telling us that we need it subliminally through all the mind control we see in the media. So people are going to be wanting this to go on. They're not going to have to force it like everyone thinks. They're going to show up with a tank. No. The masses are so dumbed down and under mind control, they're going to make them want it. And then those of us who resist, we're going to be the enemy of the state. We're going to be the ones who the FEMA camps are set up for, not just Christians, but people who aren't Christian and are resisting this. They will not have it. And the masses out there aren't going to like us or want us around because we're negative, we're hateful, we're bad, we're damaging the society, we're bigots. You see how it already is with talking against the LGBT community, talking against homosexuals. You're not allowed to have an opinion against it. Talking against trannies, which is laughable because it's just absolutely mental what's going on. And people are so defensive. Let them do what they want. Let them live how they want to live. I mean, it's really, give me a break, right? So it says, Zuckerberg says it's especially important right now. Facebook stands for bringing us closer together and building a global community. Of course it does. That's why Zuckerberg has gone so far. Not to expand the global brand, like they say, right? Oh, well, now Facebook's in Asia. Now Facebook's in Europe. It's been a plan from the get-go. This is a way to connect everybody through the internet. This is a way to connect people. This is all subliminal programming for what is to come on a worldwide scale. And it already is there. Because Facebook is big in every country now. Okay, so these are planting seeds for a global community. And we already pretty much have it. He says, how do we help people build an inclusive community that reflects our collective values and common humanity from local to global levels, spanning cultures, nations, and regions in a world with few examples of global communities? So he's saying, because we have to build a global community, is what he's saying. We have to build globalism. We need globalism. We need a new world order. That's what he's talking about. He said the most successful physical communities have engaged leaders, and we're seeing the same with online groups as well. In Berlin, a man named Maunus runs a group where he personally helps refugees find homes and jobs. Today, Facebook's tools for groups administrators are relatively simple. We plan to build more tools to empower community leaders like Maunus to run and grow their groups the way they'd like, similar to what we've done with Pages. Looking ahead, one of our greatest opportunities to keep people safe is building artificial intelligence to understand more quickly and accurately what is happening across our community. So they're using this not just to engage people into a global world and a global one world government, but also they're preparing you for the complete elimination of privacy, where they're saying, what do you even need it for? Because this artificial intelligence is already there. They're already spying on you. Why do you think you get certain ads on your, I don't have Facebook, but I'm read up on all the stuff that's going on with artificial intelligence and with mind control and the way they market to people. Why do you think all these ads show up in your feeds or in websites you visit? Because they track you, they monitor all the stuff you look at, and then they remarket stuff to you, or they find things. They know your demographic, they know your age, so they try to sell stuff to you. And people go, well, that's not a big deal. Well, it's going to be worse. They're already setting you up for all of this to be taken away, all of this privacy to be taken away. People don't even care. They're like, well, how do they know I like this? How do they know I was on this website? Oh, well, it's just cookies and cache and the back end of the internet. So it's just, no big deal. People go, oh, okay. Because they're already spying on you. He said, we noticed some people share stories based on sensational headlines without ever reading the story. So this is also pushing in the fake news stuff, which Zuckerberg was talking about before Pizzagate became Pizzagate. Just to let you know, because people said, well, once the Pizzagate thing happened, they pushed the fake news thing. It was already out there. Zuckerberg was already talking about how to filter stuff that was showing up in news feeds based on fake news. And this was going on before the election. So he says, in general, if you become less likely to share a story after reading it, that's a good sign. The headline was sensational. If you're more likely to share a story after reading it, that's often a good sign of good in-depth content. We recently started reducing sensationalism in news feeds by taking this into account for pieces of content, and going forward, signals like this will identify sensational publishers as well. There are many steps like this we have taken, and we'll keep taking them to reduce sensationalism and help build a more informed community. So what they're also expecting in the future, which already happens, I suppose, I wouldn't know, but I guess people on Facebook, they get a lot of their news there. They get a lot of news stories shared, and they read it on there. So obviously they're already, and I've talked about this even with Google and with Apple, they're already censoring this stuff to make sure that these fake news things aren't out there. I don't think that they're going to take away YouTube, but I think that they're going to continue slander campaigns to make us all look like lunatics. But I don't think that they are prepared to do that, because one, they'll be taking away a living for a lot of people, which will result in lawsuits, but also freedom of speech. They can't really walk a fine line there. But what they can do is they can use sites like Facebook where people are getting their information, and they can censor what's on there and just not let it show, and let people get their fake news from Facebook, not just from the television. And that's what's going on. So Zuckerberg goes on to finish by saying, building an inclusive global community requires establishing a new process for citizens worldwide to participate in community governance. Okay, so long story short, and that's really one of the things that Facebook's about, other than spying on you, stealing your information. The CIA is involved with Facebook. There's no doubt about it. Zuckerberg has even talked about it in the past, having his own, branch inside of the CIA with Facebook. There's shows on TV now. There's a show Hunted on CBS where they follow fugitives on the run. They're fake fugitives. They pretend to be fugitives running from the law, and they show you how the FBI, traces you and tracks you. And the first thing they do is go on Facebook. Immediately, they go on Facebook. So they go, all right, who are they friends with? Now we know they're friends. What are things that they commented on? Where are places that they've been in the past? Let's look at their pictures. And they can put the information together. They're not saying, wow, you're going to be on the run. You shouldn't have that out there. But I'm saying the FBI and the CIA use this information that people put out there. It's dangerous for your own safety because they're always monitoring you. So I always say, I recommend, not just for that reason, getting rid of Facebook, but for the mental aspect of it. Because it's all it is it's promoting self-worship. It's promoting, look at me, look what I'm doing. I'm better than you. And then other people are like, oh, it's 7 years and 3 months to the day that my great-grandma died. And, please comment and make me feel better. I mean, that's all that this is. It's self-pity. It's self-worship. It's a waste of total time. You should be picking up your Bible in that time and getting closer with God, getting stronger in the Word. But they're using Facebook to push globalism because Facebook is global, right? It's one of the trigger words they always use when talking about Facebook, a global online community, right? And soon what Zuckerberg's saying here is taking it offline, using their, the tools that they have already on Facebook to build a global community off the internet, to set it up, right? To have, in this state, we're going to have this here and that there. That's what they're setting up for. This is globalism. And Zuckerberg, it's not a surprise that he's behind being the face for one of these things, because Zuckerberg's one of them, obviously. And if these guys really wanted to change the world, why don't they just open up their bank accounts, give $1 billion to a third world country, and I'm sure you could save it. But they don't care about that. This is about mind control, total control, a new world order, pushing globalism, people accepting it through mind control, and they're going to. So I just want to point that out, that Zuckerberg, is openly even talking about using artificial intelligence to watch your private messages, which I'm telling you right now, they're already doing. So don't think that it's, they're preparing you by saying, well, we're going to do it in the future. Well, they already are. And there's no doubt about it. It's dangerous, okay, what they're doing. They're stealing privacy away. They're stealing information from people, and they're enslaving people. They're putting people into depression through Facebook, and it's self-obsession. So any way you look at it, it's a dangerous thing. People should not be using it. Okay? Or at least try to limit yourself and break free from it if you're someone who's obsessed with it. Because it's pointless and it's a total waste of time. That's what it is. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.